Hello. I want to talk about something. This could either be just whether you relate to this on on just like a person level, I don't know, but or a religious level. Have you ever just felt like you're just on Earth just because you're here? You've probably even heard of the positive thing of people saying oh, just you being here makes a difference. The irony is that people who want to make a change, especially if they want to make a change in their own lives, they go, well, I can't just be here. I have to actually do something, don't I? It's like, oh no, you kind of can just be here. That is you already changing how things are. And with me, I've had the religious thing. Let me just describe it on a religious level. Let's say, you just kind of start realizing you don't even have to really get anything done. The irony is I might have to talk or write something down, but I'm not kidding when I say I literally always had this feeling of, I just need to just sit for a second. I literally just need to be down here. I just need to exist. I guess maybe I could film like this. So I've known that I don't actually have to really do much. I can kind of just exist here. Me just existing and seeing things and being me being oh, this is terrible and I can't do anything about it. Sometimes that's the purpose. I know it might sound like the laziest spirituality ever, but I'm hear me out. This explains why, again, I can apply this to doing nothing, but let me also apply it to, you can kind of just do anything. This is just a random little side point. You can kind of just be living your life, and that's the spirituality. You just living your life and figuring things out for yourself. You don't really need to be all noble about it. The irony is, of course, it's great that you can have self-awareness and figure out your own problems. So I'm not going to say when people try and be spiritual by making spiritual choices, I'm you can kind of just be making human choices. Because, the first time I had this, feeling with, things I was doing, I realized it with, just, having to sit and think and reflect, and I am aware that's a spiritual practice of reflecting or even meditating. But I'm not going to say is also just the practice of just anything. Literally, I can just kind of be walking around. Doesn't help me, but it helps the world. Nice. Anyway, but oh my god. Again, I don't always to talk without really a point. I want to get back into the point. I'm really referring to the feeling. You know the feeling where you're I can just feel that I literally just need to sit right now. I literally just need to sit. I literally just need to be far away. I mean, I'm, at the moment now, I've got the opposite problem where I'm oh shit, I need to be doing things. Staying away doesn't really do anything. I've got a lot of things to do, by the way. If you want to get into right now, I got things to do. Anyway, 313. I hate saying that, but I have to say it. Little angel numbers, anyway. I'm the laziest earth angel. It didn't take me long to kind of realize I just have to give people information about things. Sometimes I'm just me acting like my life is hard. I just have to give people answers about things that I already understand. I can kind of just sit around and give people answers to problems that I figured out. Just that I have to keep doing it. One thing about a spiritual practice or a loyalty, I have to be very loyal to my practices. It feels like I probably will be doing this for my whole life, which is very weird to think that I'm so young, already giving advice. I felt this even as a teenager. Literally, I can kind of just do nothing, and it's it's a spiritual practice. I feel so stupid about this. I've had this realization a very long time ago, by the way. I had this realization a very long time ago. I was I just need time to be alone and sit. I don't really need to do much. I just need to remember something. It's I'm always remembering something, and I remember it, by the way. If you're always remembering something but don't remember it, I say that's alarming. But if you're trying to remember something and you remember it, there you go. That's good. Or I suggest doing something that causes you to remember. Yeah, there you go. But I'm not kidding when I say, god damn, that is what life is. Having to remember over and over. Or be reminded of what matters, like, over and over. Every single day I wake up, I have to remember what I care about. What a weird way of living. But either way, the irony is that I know certain things I'm supposed to be doing, and then it leads to me to remembering. Obviously, that's masculine energy. Remember, the actual experience is feminine. But the actual knowing that if you do this, it will happen, that's a masculine energy, by the way. So that's where you get someone who's like, you don't actually need to know. You just have to do the right thing. Because if you already know where it leads to, even if you don't know what it leads to, you know that it leads to the thing that you're trying to remember. That's like a knowing. I guess you could say masculine is knowing and feminine is experiencing. Okay, obviously feminine's experiencing, sorry. That's for people who already know this stuff. It's like, come on, this is obvious. Okay, but like, I love it when people laugh at me. It's so sweet. I just got someone totally laughing at me, telling jokes. Whatever. I don't know. Just random person. 555 on the car. Fucking... Anyway. Okay, that's me showing off. Oh my god, angel number. I'm just showing off at this point. It ain't even a spiritual practice. I'm just like, oh my god, I saw another angel number. Try out doing the right thing. No, okay, I need to stop doing the dead inside stuff. But like, no kidding, that... I love how humans communicate these days. It's so funny. Anyway. I'm so excited. I have to always be doing the right thing. Again, like, I have to be, like, so, like, not doing anything. But then I also have to be doing the right thing. Like, God's, like, given me the easiest struggle and the hardest. I'm supposed to be experiencing emotion times 100, and I have been, by the way. Thank you. Like, I'll be praying to God, and God's like, I'm like, hey, you're not saying it, you're not telling me, you're not saying anything. And it's like crying and shit. Or even if I'm not crying, I'm like internally, I'm like, God, answer me. Anyway, but the irony is that, guess what? God does answer me, by the way. He will give me just a synchronicity, and I'm like, all right. Seems like things are going well. And he's like, yeah. Well, like, without saying, he doesn't talk to me, by the way. Sometimes he does, by the way, if I ask a question. I'm not going to want to say, sometimes, a lot of the time, it's just a synchronicity. Like, he doesn't talk to me. He just, like, dude doesn't say anything. Especially when it's like, I'm just like crying out to the fucking sky to God. Like, sometimes I have to be like that, but sometimes God's like, and then gives me a synchronicity. He doesn't say anything, anyway. So yeah, I've gotten that lately. Every single time I'm like, life is over. It's like, no, what's actually going on is that you just have to experience emotion very intensely. You're not actually, your life isn't over. It just means that you're supposed to kind of like feel it like that. Like, feel it very intensely. Oh my god, my hair's a little wacky today. It's very wacky today. Bad hair day is like bad luck, by the way, if you were ever wondering. Your intuition is correct. If your hair is bad, bad hair day is bad luck. Good hair day is like goddamn good luck. That's like when you're in your energy. That's why people, when you're in your energy, it means your hair looks good. If my hair just does not look good, it means I'm out of my energy. Which is fine, it just means I'm very struggling. It just means I'm struggling. And I'm supposed to be experiencing struggle. Like, God's like, that's like a part of life. And I'm like, I'm struggling. What's going on? And it's like, God's like, yeah. Cunt, that's what happens. And then, like, something happy happens, and I'm like, oh, right, everything's fine. Okay, to be honest, I am, by the way, someone who's bipolar, alright? I'd be dealing with that. But I'm not kidding when I say the synchronicities, though, are still there. Even if you've got a disorder, it still means emotion. It still means life. And people want to deny that this is how I exist. It's like, yeah, I got a disorder, but it's still my life, silly. Anyway. That's actually what I'm experiencing. They're not fake emotions. They're real. And I mean that. If I told you about my life, you'd be like, yeah, that is a real emotion. That's a real problem. Anyway. But back to my main point. You literally just have to exist, and then, like, it happens. Like, it's literally just, like, that's other than maybe the spiritual practice. For me, I definitely have the spiritual practice of I need to do certain things that are like the lack thereof, like the doing nothing, sitting in silence, taking a break. But I always have to have something though that makes me see something in some sort of way. There's always something I'm looking up. There's always something I feel called to learn about. Or like, only for a moment, by the way. When I learn things, by the way, it's only for a moment and then I move on. That's a spiritual practice for me to move on very quickly. The irony is that I'm loyal, but when it comes to the knowledge, I literally just look at what I look at and then I fucking move on. That's a spiritual practice of mine. Spontaneity. It doesn't last. Because it doesn't. It just doesn't. Knowledge comes back around. There is certain knowledges though that go into the archives and they come back around. And to be honest, all knowledge technically gets put into the archive. Anyway, does anyone else have an archive of knowledge? Maybe that's just a weird spiritual practice. Anyway, I'm just talking about like how it feels. I'm just like talking about how it feels to be someone who has to talk about these things. So I guess maybe this video is for people who either just feel called to do nothing, or people who feel called to do spiritual practices, like knowledge. Using their vessel to access knowledge. I'd be doing that. Well, let me just use my vessel for a moment. And I'm also referring to this very specific emotion. Do you know what emotion I'm talking about? Where you just kind of go, okay, I'm talking about this. Okay, let me try and picture this. When you literally go, it's kind of like the way you feel when you go, let's say you have a box and you're like, I literally just need a box right now, and then I want to put this thing in the box just so that it doesn't get everywhere. That's how I feel about my human. I literally am like, I just need a human on Earth so that I can just be a human on Earth. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm saying kind of like a doll's house, I guess. Picture a doll's house. It's like I just need. It's like if I just needed to set something up, I'm like, I just need a shelf to set something up. And then once you've got it, you're like, all I need is I just need to have it set up. It's kind of like, I need a desk, I need a chair. I just need to have something set up. Very third dimensional, things like chairs and tables. That's how I feel about my human. I'm like, I just need a human on Earth. Do you get what I'm talking about? And that's how I feel about my spiritual practices. It's just I literally just needed a human on Earth. But yet my human on Earth is obviously still a person. So obviously emotionally I'm experiencing life. And people and relationships. But the irony is that I'm literally just supposed to be doing spiritual practices. Why am I guess maybe I'm human-like. I guess maybe I'm allowed to be human-like. Because obviously I'm a person. But I'm just saying spiritually, lol, I just needed a human in the doll's house. I just needed a human there on Earth. I needed to just be there. And here I am. And by the way, I'm very aware of this. As soon as I'm alone, I'm very aware that it's literal. The irony is that I'm a person who's experiencing things like I need to make a calculation, I need to figure things out, I need to work on myself, I need to work. But the irony is that every single time I have to humble myself this other way. There's humbling through working, and there's also humbling through not working. The humbling through not working is a remembering of, I'm just a human on Earth. I'm not supposed to be really figuring things out too much. I'm kind of just supposed to be figuring out problems for other people. I can kind of just do what I'm already feel called to do. I don't really need to do things I don't want to do. Or when it comes to things, I just have to analyze it and refine it. So for instance, having to do something, having to eat, you just simply make it things that I don't want to use eating as an example, that's too. Let's say working. All it is that you start having priorities. You just simplify things down to priorities, because if you go, I'm clearly not going to work that much, so meaning the times where I do work, it just has to be on something that is either simple or something that I'm actually working on. It has to be just a bit more simplistic. Anyway, so yeah, this is just a simplicity to doing less. The irony is that my life is very messy, especially at the moment. I feel like things change over goddamn night, and I'm like, it's so hard to trust that. But that is literally what life is like. To deny that makes no sense, actually. Do you know how often life changes overnight? Literally just... I definitely can't handle it, which obviously says something about me that I can't handle it. Says something about me not being able to handle any emotion. Oops, sorry, I thought this had fallen. Yeah, it's just very hard for my person to really handle the spirituality, because the spirituality, by the way, is very simple. My human life is a very complicated, sadness. But my spiritual practices are just there. It's almost like so comforting. It's like eating comfort foods. That's what, by the way, my spiritual practices feel like, by the way, is eating comfort foods. The irony is that me being really simplistic with meditating, that feels a little bit for a second like fasting for a moment. God damn. But then it turns back into the comfort of, I know what I'm talking about. It's just sometimes I have to return to a silence for a moment there. And it feels a little uncertain. But then it's like, oh, certain. As soon as I have the information, it's certain.